Woohoo! Another day as we roll on. PulseX is happening. Man, some huge news today. Most of it just in the last couple of hours. So it's going to be a lot of fun talking about that. Let me just check the audio. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. We're also going to talk about briefly the HexPo online conference. That's pretty much wrapped up about now. Technically, they typically go over a little bit, but that's pretty much wrapped up. I like to do these just after that. So we can do a little post recap there. Get into the chat, folks. You know how we like to roll, and get on that because we're going to have a good time with that for sure. And welcome, of course. Welcome as we go. Let me just check the audio. It's up and running. Just got to reset this, and hopefully it's going to play soon. So let's have a look here. All right, am I on live? Yes. We've got a cool poll up at the moment. Yeah, the audio sounds good to me. And it's got the poll here. So let's have a look here. We've got what HexPo online conference day 2 session did you enjoy the most? So if you've been watching the HexPo online, you may not have been, but if you have been, day 2 session, did you enjoy the most? Hour 1 and 2, which is the price and Hex talks, kind of mixed in together. The pricing was, pretty limited. Just to, it was a pretty simple conversation, but it was good. And then Hex that morphed into Hex talks with Cream the Dream. That was pretty good. I always like listening to Cream the Dream, and of course staked all the stakes. Probably about an average 13-year stake. So really living the dream there. And Descent, of course, hour 3, and then Discourse Syndicate, hour 4, Hexagon Musicians and Social, hour 5. So very cool. Those are the polls, folks. Get in the vote. That's the summary of today. That's basically the summary there of day 2. So get in there and see what you thought of that. Pretty cool. All right. So yesterday we started off. The most popular one on day 1 was the Power T shares. I've put the first part of that on this channel. I'm going to do the second part later after this live stream. And of course that ended up coming second, I think, on the poll. So at the end of the polling, we had quite a good turnout for that. So I hope you guys are having fun. And of course, Saturday night here, 8 o'clock in New Zealand. Let's get going on Saturday here. So we're going to have a bit of fun. And here is the price at the moment. So 22.85. And we actually were doing pretty well up to about half an hour ago. And then we got some wallets selling down on us just half an hour for the live stream. I thought we were going to have this top of the green candle there for the live stream, which would have been pretty good because, that's often the case. So so far we had the highest price, 23.6 cents today. But definitely 2 green candles in a row. Can't complain too much about that, especially when we were all the way down here 3 days ago. We were down at 17.6 cents on that flash move down the bottom there. And of course, we closed at 21.2. So it's nice to be up from here. Means that anything that you sacrifice with the Hex is going to be more valuable. Hey, but you've still got time. Still got about a day and 3 quarters to go. So let's see what happens. Can we get some more green candles? Of course, we'll need a pretty decent move. I think about 17%, 17% green candle. We'll need one of these green candles back here, one of these 2 here, something like that. We'll need something like that to get us up to 28 cents, which is kind of, I think, a place a lot of people wish they were sacrificing at. But let's see how we get on. Still got a day and 3 quarters to see that happening. And of course, I'm expecting big FOMO on the last day, a big sacrifice on the last day before it starts raising by 5%. And then we'll think we're still going to get some pretty good sacrificing after that, particularly in the first couple of days as that 5% compound happens. We'll still get some good sacrificing in that phase. People can bear 5% to 10%, then it starts to get into it after that. And of course, we'll see whether the powers to be let the price start rising. That's the other thing we're going to look at as well. So we'll think about that. I kind of feel like that may let the step off the treasure. Maybe people let the price run a bit, because that's what happens when you come out here. You got more buyers than sellers, and also a lot of sellers that they're wanting to sell, let the price run. But so interesting. We'll see how that goes. So see if we can get a good run, another good green candle in the next day and 3 quarters. It's going to be pretty important. I know a lot of people are sitting there with their Hex asking, what's the price going to be? But really, it's always difficult this time to know. We're typically a lot of people already broadcasting that maybe this is the best we'll get. So maybe a bit of DCAing. Anyway, you've got a day and 3 quarters to see what the market will decide. But obviously the highest in the average half-hour average that you're sacrificing, the better, right? So That's the way to go on that. Now, I'm very bullish on the price leading up to Pulsechain, with the earliest date at the moment being about a week after possibly the end of the sacrifice period on the 25th. So somewhere in the early March, it's kind of the earliest I see that at this stage. We've still got quite a bit of software stuff to do on testnet 3.0 and all that sort of stuff. So we'll see how that goes at the moment. So definitely the price not too far away from the 200 moving average as well. That's at 23.3, and of course we've been over that today. That's in yellow, the 200 moving average in yellow. So we'll see how that gets on. And yeah, I don't know if I had got the Bollinger Bands on here. Let me put that on. I thought I had the Bollinger Bands here. Bollinger Bands. So we'll put those on, bam, and see where we are on those as well. Yeah, so we're under the average of Bollinger Bands at the moment, 26.6. So let's see how we can get up there. Getting 26.6 be fairly attractive, and we've got a day and 3/4 to get to. That would be, I think, you get quite a few people sacrificing at that even, and be quite happy sacrificing up there. But 28 cents kind of the target that some people are watching. But yeah, 26 cents seems quite reasonable in this kind of highlight. So we'll watch out that too. Let me get into the studio. I forgot where my studio is and my comment bags. Ahmed's in the house. Hey, Ahmed, good. Hello. And Brownie's in. Hey, great that you can make it, Brownie. Big thumbs up. And Jamie Phillips says, I love the show. Woohoo! Yeah, Jamie, I love it too. Woo! All right, so pretty cool. Hey, it's pretty cool. Quiet here on a Saturday, but it's been a long day for people watching that the HexPo conference, and it is a Saturday. So, of course, I'm in the future here. It's 8 p.m. on Saturday night. So that's where we are at the moment. It's still daylight outside because it's summer here. Daylight savings as also we have daylight savings, so doesn't get dark probably for another hour and a half maybe. So we'll watch that too. Pretty hot though, pretty hot as we lead in. All right, so that's kind of a bit of a review of the price. Let's have a quick look at some of the indicators. We've got the DMI down the bottom. You can see that the green, I've changed the colors to make it a bit obvious. So green is the buyers, red is the sellers, and orange is the signal line. And of course, we've crunched up here at the moment. So who's going to win this battle? Who's going to win the battle? I think we might get the green. I'm back in the green, but it's definitely crunched up here on the DMI. So that's pretty interesting. So let's see a breakout. We've got plenty of room. The CCI's got plenty of room down here, so we can have a nice run on that. And that's why I said I think we're looking pretty good, even if we don't get a big price rise before the end of the sacrifice period, which I think we're still looking good for a slightly higher price at least. Then I'm pretty confident we'll get a nice big run over the summer period there, or at least our summer. Your winter, I guess, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. RSI has also got plenty of room in it as well to move up there, so not too bad. Let's have a look at the price structure, pull it out a bit more. Some people are talking about a bit of a reverse head and shoulders here, or inverse head and shoulders, but it is kind of a messy looking one. And of course, we've got a nice little trend line at the top here. So, you know, if we do that, we'll get a nice breakout to the right. So that's kind of where I'm feeling anyway. So, yeah, but whether we'll get in this time frame, I think we're going to get a lot of demand. Whether we get a lot buying on the market or whether people sacrifice from their wallets, that's kind of the key. But I think we're going to get a big day on that final day on the 9th. So yeah, definitely that's kind of where I'm feeling at the moment. So let me know in the chat how you're feeling about that. But that's kind of where I'm at the moment, and I'm just going to delete this one. It was kind of an old measure there. Let's jump over to PulseX and see what the results are. We've got some big news around PulseX Sacrifice. Pretty awesome. You know how I like to roll. I like to keep to the data as much as possible. 459, so almost 460 million sacrificed on ETH chain. Add in another, say, 15 million for the other chains, and we're sitting at 475 million. 475 million, and our next target is $500 million US dollars, $500 million, and we're only, like I say, about 25 million away from that. When we do a live stream tomorrow, we'll have that tomorrow based on how we've been tracking every day. Obviously, we're going to cover day 9 results on this channel as an exclusive on this channel since I've been tracking them. So we're going to track. I'm going to reveal that to you a bit later, but they've been going pretty good. We've got the top 10 sacrificed, of course, going down there. Very nice. and of course the amount of time left before we get a 5% increase in the base points. There's two components to the PulseX sacrifice: the base points amount, and then the volume multiplier, which ranks the amount of US dollars that you sacrifice versus everybody else. So those are the two components, and of course the base amount times the multiplier equals the total amount of points that you're going to get, which is effective to the total amount of PulseX that you're going to receive, because you're going to sacrifice for freedom, and that's very important. I think it's critically important at the moment. So cool. So a day and 16 hours and 49 minutes to go until we get the end, and that 5% starts rising every day. So we've still got a bit of time there for the price to rise, and it has been rise. We've got 2 green candles so far in a row. So let's see if we can get a third and a fourth in there as well. So I think that's feeling pretty got some room in there, and the price just went to 23.2. Let's get up to 26.28. I know a lot of people with the hex in their bags would be happy to sacrifice at that. They just wanted the price to be a little bit higher. Maybe they didn't get to sacrifice at 35 or 30 cents, and they just want to get that a bit of an inch higher, 26, 28 cents, to make them feel a bit better about not missing out on sacrificing back up here. All right, let's get into that. So cool. So here we are in the bonding curve. This for the base points that I talked about, the first component, and we're sitting in here somewhere. And of course, once we hit the 10th, it's going to start rocking it up there, and it's going to eventually, by the end of the 25th, which is like day 58, we're going to have it's going to be $9.90 for 10,000 points. So 10x. What you get now, so you've got to get in early, and so you might have to do some heavy thinking about that if you've still got some that you're in your sacrifice target that you want to sacrifice as well. And the multiplier, of course, runs from the first day all the way through to the 20th of February, and then after that, so that's the second component, and of course after that you get a 1.75 between 21st and 25th. So that's pretty much how that works. All right, cool. And if you want to sacrifice, you've done your thinking about this, then here it is on pulsex.info. That is the DApp. That is where you sacrifice from. You just follow the instructions, and that's pretty much easy. Now, pretty much most people are sending it from this address, to this address, I said, from their own address. And of course, if you're sending from Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Matic, Avalanche, Ethereum Classic, or Ethereum, you send it to that address, all right? And if you are sending it to this Ethereum address on these chains, do not sacrifice directly from an exchange, a centralized exchange. Do not do that, okay? Because that's their wallet, not your wallet. So you must do sacrifice from your own wallet. That is the #1 numero uno. There have been people that have sacrificed to a centralized exchange and pretty much lost their sacrifice. So that is the biggest warning you can think of there, is to make sure that you send it, if you're going to send it, to the ETH address on these chains here. So very important. You can send from MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Coinbase, Wallet, Ledger, Treasure, Mu, any wallet you have the seed words or keys to. That is, you can send it from there. And of course, ETH, BNB, Matic, AVAX, ETC, DAI, USDC, USDT, BUSD or Binance USD, Wrap Bitcoin, and more are supported. To see other supported coins, so a lot of people ask about that, fill in your address below and click next. So here's the address below, put your address in there, click next, and you can follow that. However, if you're going on to other chains, non-Ethereum compatible chains, then you are sending to following networks: Binance Chain, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, etc. All these chains. Then you must provide an address. You put it in here also. And then, of course, if you need a MetaMask wallet, you can download one and go through that process. But if you already have one, you can click here and approve it. That's down at this wallet here. You can connect that and insert your address in the field above. And then, of course, once you do that, a new step 2 will open up. A new box at the bottom here will open up, and you click that and go to step 2, and then step 3, and you'll be sweet. So that's how you do it pretty quickly. And if there's a couple of videos in the video description on how to do it, if you want to watch Hodl Dog or somebody famous like that in the community. So go check that out, folks. That's pretty much that. Let's go to Pulse Leads and check out some of the kill. These are live results at the moment. We're going to go through the end of day 9 results just after the live results. So let's do that. So yeah, we're sitting at about 475 million all up with non-Ethereum stuff, and that's very, very cool. The big news, of course, is we've got a third big sacrificer here, and that's looking really tremendous. And so that's looking really good. And so yeah, we're sitting at number 3, and of course that's $14.4 million has just come in. This is a new whale, and of course a whale we know, though, a whale we know. So very exciting. And they were number 3 on Pulsechain Sacrifice launch, and now they're also number 3 on PulseX Sacrifice as well. So fantastic news, folks. really is good. And of course, very exciting to see that. So very cool. All right, so here they are, 14.4 million. Let's have a look at their transactions and see what they actually sacrificed. So a massive 63,289,995 hex was sacrificed for them. And that was only a few hours ago, and that's worth 14.4 million US dollars. So huge sacrifice there, and they're ranked number three. Number three, really, that's amazing. And of course, let's go back there. And of course, you can also see their results here at number three. So we've got three now over $10 million for Pulsechain. We had five over $10 million, and now we've got three, and that's really spectacular. And mostly the same players. So we're going to go to Pulse leads, sorry, Pulsechain one here. And of course, last time they sacrificed 19.2 million for the Pulsechain sacrifice, and they ended up getting, based on this estimate, at least 192 billion pulse points or pulse tokens. Pretty amazing. That was back on the 19th of July, back at Pulsechain. So huge stuff there, folks. And if we look at the leaderboard, I think we can just go. Let's go to back here. We can see the leaderboard for Pulsechain. I think that's going to work for us. Let's go back there. Yeah, so this is Pulsechain. Obviously, sacrifice we had back in July, early August, and you can see that the same wallet is sitting at number 3 there, 19.2 there, and that was under the Hex Godwell, which was number 2 on Pulsechain there. So pretty amazing. And of course, that is now Pulsechain is now the Hex Godwell is now number 1 on here. So pretty cool. So number 2. So number 3, number 2 and 3 are now on Pulsechain sacrifice as well. Very, very cool. And OA, I don't think that one was in there. So I think OA is new, OA1, so that I can see. At least not in the top there. So very, very cool. So this one here was number 2, that was number 3, and of course on Pulsechain, and now that one's number 1 and number 3 respectively for a PulseX sacrifice. So very cool. The big whales have come in, folks, and this one used Hex, of course. The Hex God whales used Ethereum, and lucky for the Hex God whale, because the Ethereum price started really falling. The Hex God whales also started selling off Ethereum into USD dollars, over 30 million. That's been doing a lot of that today in the last 24 hours. So interesting to protect their portfolio, no doubt, as well. So very cool moves going on there amongst the big fish, as it were. So very cool stuff there. All right, so nice on that. And let's have a look and see how many millionaires we've got. We're going to scroll down at the bottom here, and we're going to check this out as well. So yesterday we had 41 millionaires, I believe. Yeah, 41. And how many we got at the moment? So no, we had 46 millionaires yesterday, I think. Yeah, now we're at 52 now. So we're up, what's that, 4 or 5? We're up 6. No, we're up 6 new millionaires today. So pretty cool. That's probably as good or slightly better than yesterday. So up to 52 millionaires. Remember, Pulsechain by comparison had about 75. We'll just scroll down Pulsechain. So this purple one here is Pulsechain, was sacrificed back in July last year. And of course, look all the millionaires we had in that one. It's humongous at the time. And that was at 75. So we had 75 at the time. Obviously, got to reflect the prices at the time as well, but we still had 75. Very cool. That was on the ETH chain. And of course, now we have 52 so far, and we're just, heading. We've still got a good 2 days, or just less than 2 days before we have the end of the first maximum period for base points. So very, very cool. So welcome to all the millionaires. Dance, dance, dance. Nice. Now I do understand also that Magic Carpet Ride is also playing around. There's a whole sort of syndicate of people. There are syndicates around, and of course Magic Carpet Rides are looking to do stuff with Pulse loans as well, as I understand it. So they're going to try and they're going to collude together. I think they're sitting around number 70, number 80. Magic Carpet Ride, and they are sitting in one of these wallets here. So maybe over $500,000 or something, as I understand where they're at the moment. They may be even higher by now, but they're sort of on Telegram, syndicated themselves. Not sure how they structured it, because I haven't been able to get Telegram for a little while. But very, very cool. Looks like they're going to go into Pulse loans, and probably so they're going to try and get a higher multiplier through here by combining together, and then they're probably going to look at Pulse loans and start collateralizing their Pulse, and then buying Pulse with that is possibly their strategy as well. So they're going to be doing a few strategies around that. So it's just interesting some of the gamification that some people are doing, and so yeah, pretty interesting stuff going on there as well. All right, so this is the PulseX, of course, we're talking about. So, so take that into account. All right, so where am I going there? Don't want to get too far back. So, all right, let's have a look. See, to get in the top 100, you need 470,000 to get the top 100 at the moment. So nice. I can't remember what we had yesterday, but it's probably climbing, no doubt. All right, so very cool. Let me get into some of the chat there. We've got Alex Case. There's so much content these days. There's Alex Case absolutely really starting to explode with content creators. Alex Case is trying to keep up. Thanks for updates. Someone needs to put summary of the conference highlights. Yeah, I was thinking of doing that myself, Alex, but I pretty much yesterday my highlight was the power of T-shares. I've posted those that on this channel. I'm posting the second part later after this live stream. So I know pulling out the heights. I had some. I looked at some highlights for today, and the closest thing to highlight for me was Kinetics. But even Kinetics not giving away much at the moment, so we're still waiting for Kinetics to spill some beans. He did give something away, and we're going to look at that today. So I'm going to show you the highlight that I thought was today. So I'll show you that later on. That's coming. So yeah, I'm looking at for the very kind of the material highlights, not the social interactors. You know me, I'm all about the data and the implications of that. So cool. Brownie says I've got a good dollar cost average on my Hex at 28 cents. Hayden, well done, Brownie. Good, that's a good move. I still have a quarter of my bag sacrifice, but I'll wait and see. Nice one there, Brownie. And Brent says help the old boy to sack today. He will be very happy man one day if the investment he will ever make. Hey, well done, Brenton, and all the best to your dad there. Nice, and the best. Yeah, that's right. All right, so welcome everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. If you're watching this after the live stream, of course, leave your comments, and I will respond to those as always. Very, very cool. So this is the top 100. Getting the top 100 at the moment on the ETH chain, 470. And let's jump over to the top 500 and see what that's is at the moment. So 470. And we've got so many highlights in today's live stream. You guys are going to love it. So obviously we've got a brand new wallet, the number 3. So that means 3 wallets over 10 million. And we've got 52 millionaires now. To get in the top 500, you need over 100,000 now. So that's definitely gone higher than yesterday. I think it was 99 something or something like that. So we're over 100 grand now to get in the top 500. So that's pretty hilarious. So if you want to get in top 500, 100,000 is where you need to be. Let's have a look at the top 1,000. And I've got to be careful how much I open up here. 51,000 is what you need to get in the top 1,000. There we are, folks. So pretty cool. Top 5,000. Let's see if that pulls up nice and easy. Let's let that give it a second to run. Don't want to go too fast. So yeah, 51,000 to get top 1,000, and to get in the top 5,000, you need $10,000. $10,000, folks. Look at that, 9,999. You need 10,000 to get in the top 5,000. Isn't that crazy? So there we are, folks. Top 5,000. You need $10,000. That's amazing. So very, very cool. Let's compare that to Pulsechain and see whether that comes up there. Not sure if that's going to show up there. Yeah, 7790 was you need to get in top 100 for there. Not sure if I have to click view data there. But this one here is a bit slow at the data feed, so I might leave that one at the moment. But that'll be pretty interesting as well. I'll test that for tomorrow's live stream. That'll be a feature. All right, let's go to all and see how we're going. Oh, by the way, of all wallets, we've surpassed the Pulsechain all wallet, so that's pretty epic. On that. Okay, so getting all the data is a bit harder on this at the moment, so hopefully we'll be fine with that. So waiting for that to happen. All right, cool. I think we got there. Let's go down to the bottom. So we're up to 42,644 wallets on the ETH chain alone, and that is more than what we had on Pulsechain as well. We had 41,200 on here. It's not showing, but that's what we did have. And here we are at 42,6044. So we blitzed that, of course. People gamifying a little bit though. They're trying to get a whole ton of Genesis wallets in case there's airdrops. That's probably become a little bit more wider known. But we also have a lot more people interested. We have bigger telegrams for Pulsechain, all that sort of stuff. We've had a lot of people that miss out on the Pulsechain sacrifice and now wanting to get PulseX. So we have a lot of those variables in the play. All right, so very, very cool. Let us, we'll put that back to the top 100 and hopefully that will update for us nicely. And it's going to take a think. There we are, top 100. So there we are, folks. Big news. So that's the highlight today, and very cool to see that. And of course, that was stuff from their liquid wallet. So I think they also had number 3 also has like 500 million somewhere. Not sure where they put that 500 million. I tried to look for it, but I couldn't find it. I think they might have 500 million stake or something. It just wasn't showing up when I checked it. Let's have a look at the overall results. Very, very cool. We're going to refresh because we've probably given a little bit of time. We're probably over 460 now. Let's have a look there. No, still 459,820. But with the non-Ethereum, you know, is over probably well over 15 million by now. So definitely 475 million. Let's have a look at the data here. So 275 million, 275 million hex, and that is 1 billion. You can see that 1 billion and 34 million. Wow, we did it, man. You know how important that is? That's so good. And if I get my numbers right, just off the top of my head, since about May, we've added about 6 billion to circulating supply. We've got to get the billions and the millions right. That's a big difference. About 6 billion to circulating supply, but I think we've sacrificed in the order of maybe 4 billion altogether, if I remember rightly what the Pulsechain sacrifice was on that. So I need to go back and double check that, but I think it was over 3 billion. Check me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the chat, but I think it was that plus another billion. That's probably about 65 to 70% has been taken off the market at 6 billion new that new inflation into the, or at least that's not inflation, the circulating supply, which would include some inflation in that. So it's a pretty cool result. 1 billion. Let's go up. We want to go up. We've got a long way to go. All the way to 25th, and of course we'll have still got quite a few days ahead of us. We should get some pretty good hex sacrifices in there too. So nice on that. And man, can we get up to 1.25, 1.5 billion? That'd be pretty nice, right? So just keep on getting that circulating supply down. People talk about how are you going to get the price down? Well, you get the supply down, you get the demand up, and before you know it, you know, you're getting into the multiple dollars as well. So pretty interesting. I heard Kinetics today still talking about $1,000 hex and $1 million hex. I'm not quite that moon boy, but I definitely think that we could get the dollars can get very high in hex for sure. And of course, then you have a stock split, the P hex as well. So it'll be hex on Pulsechain, and then what we'll call hex on ETH will probably more commonly become eHex or something like that. So it's pretty interesting stuff. ETH 111, almost 112 $1 million of Ethereum. Of course, a big thing was that was the number one whale using 7,777 7,777 Ethereum to sacrifice to take the top spot. And of course, the top spot is right here. Very, very cool. And of course, USDC almost 45 million on the ETH chain, 16 million on USDC, and DAI 2.6 million. Wrapped Bitcoin at 2.5. Link at 1.4, Shiba at 1.3, Wise at 900,000, and of course that's 2 million Wise there. And Alex, you'll probably be familiar that that's in addition to all the stake stuff coming out before the 15th, and so that's like 16 million stuff coming out of the Wise, plus another 2 million. If no doubt this will be sold into stable, like into DAI or something. Well, they'll have to go through Ethereum or something like that. But man, I guess no, they could just feed it through another route. But that's going to be some potentially pretty heavy selling already, which has already been impacted by the ETH fall. So it's going to be pretty interesting. 2 weeks away too before they actually launch their first product. So it's going to be interesting. The sell pressure is going to be intense, I think. Anyway, so that could get them 10, probably 10% price decrease just by that alone, with all the stuff coming down. Maybe higher, maybe 12%. Right, so uni there's 735,000 on the uni, and then Crow is looking not too bad, 412, 348 on USD. USDT 250. So, and then we get into Sushi and Aave and others as well. So if you see anything on here, if you want to sacrifice that, you can do that. Very, very cool. The other thing, of course, you can keep topping up your sacrifice from your wallet. If you've got the same wallet, you can obviously use multiple wallets, but if you want to go for the multiplier, volume multiplier, and you want to increase your USDC value, you can sacrifice on many occasions as long as you use the same wallet to register that. It'll just add up. When it's, I guess when they run the algorithms or whatever, sweep the data, they'll be able to just pick all that stuff up. So cool. Nice. All right, so looking good there. Let me just check the comments here, see if they've got anything else in there. Hey, the Hex Pulse dude's in the house. Hey, good to see you, Hex Pulse dude. Hey, buddy, do you think we will get above 25 cents tomorrow on last day? Still waiting to sack. Yeah, I'm optimistic about that, Hex Pulse dude. Obviously, I don't know the future, but I'm optimistic about us getting up to that range. At least 26 cents is definitely in the cards at the moment. Let's have a look here. So Yeah, we're up at 23.2. It's kind of looking quite bullish. I think expecting if we get some market buys looking to sacrifice, that'd be quite good as well. So yeah, I definitely think it's in the realm of possibilities, and definitely I'm holding some for that, and I know many others are too. So we'll see. As well, I know that just getting in at this stage is going to be fantastic. If you believe in the big X's that are coming, which I do, obviously I think that the PulseX swapping ability is massive buy and burn. It's like a giant. It's like every single crypto is trading, and then a little bit of that those fees from every trade is going into do the buyback for one a token, which is PulseX. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? It's like a dream come true, as it were. So pretty cool. Like even if no one buys or sells, that's going to be just keep buying and burning. So it's just the holy grail. It's pretty cool. The key, of course, is getting a lot of those, getting the bridge on, and of course that may not happen straight away. It's going to happen straight away because the way it works. But getting well, they'll have to probably, I don't know what solution they're going to have because they were going to automate it, but we'll see what solution they come up with. But it'll be manual, something like that. But we've got to get that bridge in and get the ERC20 to come over, pair up, and get that moving. That's really the holy grail after that. So very cool. But hey, we're back at 23.2 cents after a bit of selling. So it's nice to see that. Eamon says, think Hex price will pump right before the 10th. Well, I think it will. I think we're just slowly creeping up there. Let me talk about a creep. But hey, if there are people that decide to FOMO late, it won't have. I don't think it's going to happen in the last final hours. I think it will happen earlier in the day. So it may happen like 5 hours earlier is when I'm expecting. If there's a price rise, it's going to be 5 hours earlier. It could actually go a bit flat, even a bit of a sell-off before the close of the 9th. Don't be surprised if we see a little sell-off before the close. That could happen too. So yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. But I think at the moment we're creeping up, and that's I think any time from now you should be thinking about sacrificing a bit of your bag, is the way I'd look at it, but not investment advice, of course. Just some my opinions. Hex Positive said, as you do have some spare 500 mil kicking around, love it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, absolutely. And Brent says, PulseX Telegram, we're discussing on a gameplay with swapping PulseX for Pulse with a 48-hour window that Richard said that they might be before the price go. Do you think the ratios will dump PulseX? I know that quite a few people want to pick up some Pulse, but actually I think that, to be honest, I think that the PulseX is the better economic model straight off the bat. That's what I'm thinking. So why would you do that? I think people, obviously I was in the Pulsechain sacrifice, so I'm not too worried about that. But people that are trying to do that, I think that they need to maybe rethink their tokenomics a little bit. Is the way I'd put that. I definitely think Pulse is the better medium, longer term play, but it all depends. Yeah, I definitely think that's probably the case. Actually, it depends on the economic energy that's turning over in the PulseX, but I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be ginormous because of the AMM bot running, because of the bridge opening up, because of all the incentives there, drawing in millions of users. It's going to be pretty crazy good. Brendan says, they're all going to do well. They're all going well. You're just talking about relative speaking. The other thing with ratios, though, you could actually could burn quite badly on the ratios, especially if you sacrifice and then the ratios go against you. It could be quite bad. That's going to be really volatile to start off with. So you've got to take all those account. I'm just going to kind of let it run, right? That's my strategy. Just let it just quiet down a little bit. And of course, pick up any opportunities that may occur with any once we get a bit of price. It's going to be, the US dollar thing's a big issue too, so we've got to wait to see that play out as well. So yeah. Brenton, I hope so. I want to scoop up the more PulseX. So yeah, that's the other way. So quite a few people that understand the PulseX maybe wanting to pick up PulseX, and it's kind of where my view. I've kind of flipped my view. Like I was more into Pulse, but then obviously the more time I've been, thinking about how the play out. So the PulseX definitely looks incredible. So nice. Brenton Eslick says, I think it's everyone's gameplay that didn't sacrifice. That's right. That's true. And why stakes coming out and easy to sell? Yeah, that's right. Well, Alex. And so I just thought it was an interesting angle given it's the biggest liquidity pool on Uniswap version 2, and imagine that getting harvested over by the AMM bot and then getting a lot of pulse, but it's all locked in, right? It's like 90 whatever % of that stuff. Can't remember how much now, but it's mostly locked in. So that's fascinating. That can't even be pulled out. So that can't even be pulled. So that's just crazy, right? That's crazy stuff right there. And that's huge value, right? The pulse. So it's going to be fascinating, man. And basically, the AMM bot's going to be harvesting PYs It's just, you think about it, it's kind of crazy, right? Oh man, that's some really interesting stuff there as well. So Brownie says, I'll sit for a few weeks after launch before doing anything, see what price. Hey, that's exactly what I think, Brownie. That's my strategy too. But I'll be there ready to get pick up any opportunities, especially once the bridge is open as well. So nice. Graphene says, like the fit. Hey, Graphene, appreciate that. Big shout out to you. And you know how we like to talk about this is pretty much like to talk about the data and all the stuff that's driving all the drivers. I love that. That's really what I love doing. PulseX Dude says, what do you think about the big X's will be? This is a no-brainer. 3 months, 6 months. Yep, no-brainer. And then a first year, no crystal ball, but you so on the pulse with most stuff, mate. Hey, X-Pulse, yeah. I'm definitely thinking big. I'm going to be conservative. I'm definitely thinking, you know, even with the Origin wallet likely to come in, PulseX do the usual thing, control the supply. Because I just kind of see that as dead supply off the side, so that's pretty cool. And so I'm thinking, you know, easily going to outdo any yield farm. The only thing I'm conscious of course, is the general crypto market. If it is continuing a long decline, that will have some impact on the total upside because it's still economic energy. But I think all the action is going to be at Pulsechain and PulseX. Everyone's going to, even if the other ones are having a lot of trouble tuning over that value because the prices have come down, I still think that a lot of actions is going to sweep into the Pulsechain and the PulseX. It's going to be quite crazy, and that will offset some of that downside of the general crypto market. But like I said in yesterday's video, I think we still got to watch out for still got to watch out for the the key macros like Federal Reserve interest rates. That's still really important because that's the printing money. Printing money is leveraged, and that goes into the stock market, goes into crypto. So that still is important, and that's the general psyche. It's a bit like I always use the stadium theme when the stadium starts emptying out, and you know there's no one there to buy, you know, kind of thing. And when the market's going up, everyone's can't wait to get into the stadium. Fills up pretty quickly when all goes away. Everyone's left the stadium. The last person standing there going, "What happened? What happened? How come I lost my bags? How come I lost my bag?" But anyway, so yeah, I'm definitely thinking minimum a couple 100x, minimum couple 100x. So very cool. Out of the gate, we could in a short space of time. I can't obviously estimate the time, but you know, out of the gate, 20x or something. I'm expecting, you know, Pulse. You know, could with the amount of liquidity, also liquidity is going to be a big issue. How much the total liquidity is in there in US dollar value? But you're talking about you know, easily, I think 0.001 is quite reasonable, and I think it'll probably be higher than that actually now. So I'm starting to actually think it's going to be higher. Like, you know, it could spike up. So we're talking about kind of leveling out price, but yeah, and then just go up from there. And of course, that's if you're a big whale, that's like probably I can't remember the exact numbers from when I did a whole live stream on this, but was that 40x or something? I can't remember now. But yeah, I think it was pretty cool. Actually, I might come back on that tomorrow, HexPulse, and talk about that more with the data numbers that I set up. Edmund says, yes, I'll let it shake out a bit and scoop up some. I think the price will spike at launch. Yep, agreed. And then I'm expecting a bit of a dump after year. And it's going to be interesting to see that play out. I think it's actually going to do a few things that we probably haven't seen before as well, because we've got everything launching almost at once, basically. So we've got all these new things that are launching at once. New tokenomics, new tokens, whole Ethereum system state copy, whole yield farming kind of in the same ballpark time. That's all landing at once, and it's like that's never happened before. So normally we're used to the big price rise at the in the opening, maybe in the first 5 minutes, and then sort of a spike down, and it goes crazy, and then we sort of let it grow. But this is going to be a bit different. It's going to have some different cycles, so that gap may be quite short. Maybe like maybe a day, 2 days, and we could see some rises up and then pullbacks, and it could be quite a little bit different from our classic crypto spike up and then down. I'm suggesting that's because there's so much happening in that place. And now, of course, we've got the bridge coming day 2 as well. So there's a little bit of time before the closed system becomes an open system. And that's going to be another, see what I mean? It creates another form of all this economic energy coming in. So it's hard to predict, right? So it's really going to be really awesome. I think ultimately it's hard to predict, but it's going to be amazing X returns is what I think. It's going to be absolutely stellar, I should say. Hex2, and now how long have we got until the end of the 10th? Time is ticking, so time to plan out, as you said, to be pulsed for the last 12 hours. Yeah, so we've got the time frame here is 1 hour and 16 minutes and 20 minutes. 1 1 day. I did this in a video 3 days ago. I had to put a little disclaimer after the video that I meant a day, not hours. So 1 day, 16 hours and 20 minutes. 1 day, 16 hours, 20 minutes before the 5% increase starts. So that's the thing. All right, cool. Hey, all right, let's see how the moderator's getting on with that one. Let me just pull up that. I just got those little Russian. Let's have a look here. I use it from this channel. Cool. Those little Russian bots with their little comments in there. All right, so nice. We've got Brendan says $45 all-time high for Uni and Pancake Swap. What will Pulse do? Oh, it's going to be way higher. Way higher. Remember that those ones still got inflationary aspects to them, and they get offset with a whole ton of mechanisms for deflation. Whereas apart from the Uni, of course, but for PulseX, it's a whole different game. You're starting with that top amount, the total supply at the top, and it's just going to go down, down. And of course, you add in people buying and selling it. You're going to get move around, but it's just going to, with the buy and burn, it's just going to, people want to buy it. You're going to want to buy this. You're going to want to buy it. So it's going to have, you're going to have more buyers. And then you got liquid loans. People playing the strategy on liquid loans to collateralize their Pulse and then lend the ULL, probably put that into Pulse and probably put that into PulseX, and so that's going to be buying power. So there's all these fundamentals coming in smash like that, and some syndicates out there too. It's going to be crazy to see the results. Really is pretty cool. Brendan Eslick says this is not an expectation, but we never seen something like this before. Absolutely, Brendan, absolutely. That is spot on. Remember to get your ERC20s on the MetaMask and dump your ETH for either ERC20 assets or stablecoins. That's true, Alchemist. Yeah, stablecoins going to be interesting play in that though. But definitely some good ERC20s would be pretty good. Uni token and stuff like that, probably fairly good. We've got another one there. How do we get that Russian bot in there? All right, so nice. I'd use it from channel. There we are. All right, so cool. And Brownie's in house. Pulsechain is crypto for tsunami. It absolutely is, Brownie. It's going to be a tsunami as well. I find it's very. It's going to take people by surprise. It really is going to be huge. It really is going to be crazily good. So can you please explain what happens after day 10? Does the price go up 5% every day? Yes, it does. It compounded. So that's why it goes up quite sharp here. This is the price going up 5%. And it will rise up to $9.90 by the 25th of February. And so you're going to pay 10 times more for 10,000 points. You'll be paying $9.90 for 10,000 points, whereas back here you just pay $1 for it. So like I use the example, if you do $10,000 worth, then that would be 100 million PulseX. But up here, of course, you're only going to get just under 10 million. Just under 10. What did I say? 10 million. Yeah, 10 million. Yeah, that's right. So very, very cool. So difference between 100 million and 10 million up here for the same amount of dollar for the same dollar. You're going to get for $1 up here, you'd get only 10 million. So cool. Yeah. All right. Hope that helps. Cool. And how does that relate to the straight 1.7 multiplier as the last couple of days? So yeah, the volume multiplier only runs to the 20th of February. And so that ranks all your USDC, and then it's going to give you a multiplier, and that will take your multiplier times the base amount, which is the 10,000 per dollar, whatever dollar rank you paid for. Simple way to put it is if you got if you did 10,000 at $1, $10,000 at $1, at $1 for 10,000 points, then that would give you 100 million. PulseX, and then if you got a multiplier for that, maybe around about 1.1, which is probably reasonable to expect to be around something like that, then that would be 100 million times 1.1 would be 110 million PulseX you'd get. And of course, you'd hodl it after that, right? You hodl after that, or you'd be try and trade the ratios and then maybe lose a lot of it. So you got to be careful if you're on the wrong side of that trade. Very, very cool. Hopefully that helps there, the Hex Pulse dude. And Pinch Me says, oh, wait a minute. How's the sea going over your way? We are pretty stuffed here in Australia now. Pulsechain smash it. Hey, look, we've got a lot of problems with our leaders in all these countries, and they have moved pretty swiftly to break some laws, in my opinion, and override a lot of basic principles. Yeah, I'm not happy about it. It's pretty bad. But anyway, we'll keep to crypto. I'm just trying to watch my language so that they don't get picked up by the authoritarians' powers on this platform. Pinch Me says, When are they both PLS and X expected to release? Is it around the same time frame? Yes. So obviously Pulsechain's the chain has to be up, and then PulseX as well will be there too. They'll both be showing up on the Pulsechain if you've done the sacrifices, and then you just have to switch from Ethereum over to Pulsechain when it goes live. And of course, they will then show up on the chain under your address. And of course, if you want to see them in MetaMask, for example, you need to probably most likely just add the contract addresses for Pulse and the contract address for PulseX into your MetaMask as a custom token, just like you often do. Assuming they don't have an automatic button that does it for you, is the way I would see it happening there. Hopefully that helps pinch me. And Brendan says, Jesus, if PulseX gets above $1, I'll lose my marbles. Yeah. Well, definitely, once again, I think the people that hold for a good amount of time are the ones that are going to get the big X's, the ones that all the plebs, as we like to call them, that sell for like 2X or whatever, and they're not going to get the 100X, right? They'll say, oh, I want to get the 100X, I want to get the 1000X, but then they'll get a 2X or a 3X, and then they'll be gone. And maybe they get a 10X or whatever out of the gate, and they're gone. And then they go, oh, no, that's I miss out on the 100X, the 300X, the 500, the big X's. So, as we talked about the other ones, they were getting, upwards of like 300X or so on some of the better ones. I think Sushi Swap and stuff. Then, I think that we could easily blow past that. Is my guess there. All right, so let me, where am I up to here? I've got to keep up with the. I think we've talked about the live. We're going pretty good. Hey, that was the Pulsechain one. So I'm going to get out of there and. Where's the Pulsechain too? So I'll get out of there. Let's do one update, and then we're going to get into the daily results, folks, because that's what we're here for as well. So welcome everybody. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And 461,301,000. Woohoo! Nice. And so we add another 15 onto that. We're at 470, 476, 477, somewhere in that mark, heading up towards $500 million. US dollar sacrifice. That's pretty awesome stuff. Let's get into the daily results, folks. We've looked at the live results so far. We'll come back to them, of course, during the live stream. Let's get into the daily results. Here it is. So this is day 8 from yesterday. We're at 3,191 on the Ethereum sacrifice. Let's jump over to day 9. And of course, this is our latest result. So this is approximately 24 hours apart from each other. And so we were snapshot at 426 million. So 426 million. So it's pretty nice that we put that into the spreadsheet. And 426 million you can see here for the Pulsechain sacrifice, and you can see 391 from yesterday. So that gives us an increase of 35 million, approximately 24 hours apart from each other. Now, obviously, these line up with the 24 hours after Richard kind of called it and went live. So that's how the 24-hour system works, as opposed to directly aligned to the tick over on the countdown clock. But this is more accurate if you think about when Richard launched, because it kind of launched a little early, because it's about 11 days before the Pulsechain, so it's taken into account. So yesterday we did about 28 million, today 35 million, and of course Pulsechain sacrifice comparably was 17 million. Obviously, after the first 5 days, it was already compounding up for at least 4 days by this time, at 1.05, so 5% compounded for 4 days. And of course, so we were 17.6 million above Pulsechain at the same time on the same day period, day 9, and of course that's 103% higher on this day, which we expected, right? We expected this to be the case, because instead of having 5 days of 10,000 points at $1, we've got about 11 days at 10,000 points per dollar. So let's have a look at the charts. It's quite easier to read a chart, right? Says 1,000 words, or in this case a billion hex or something. So we're climbing up here. The purple is Pulsechain's totals. These are the totals. You can see the totals sacrifice in millions US dollars on the side there. Probably should put a little bit more information there, but it's millions of dollars USD. And here in pink is our PulseX sacrifice, and you can see us climbing the totals up to 426 at the end of day 9. Of course, we're well higher than that now, because we had that big whale come in only a couple of hours ago. So very cool. And so we're racing towards the 500 million. We're up at about 477, 476, somewhere in that make at the moment. So pretty awesome day so far today. Really terrific. So nice. And so that's looking good on day 9. So nice. Let's have a look at the daily change compared to Pulsechain. So we're tinkering above, and a big move up today. And of course, tomorrow's is going to be even bigger. The gap's going to be even bigger, because we already know that we're about 50 million already for today. So a massive jump today. And of course, if we're at 50 million yesterday, Pulsechain was only 12.6 million for day 10. So 50 million is going to put us way up on this line here. So we know we get at least up this high, but we're going to be higher because we've got a long way to go before the day rolls over. So nice. And yeah, then we've got the day 11. That's going to be pretty important too. That'll be our big day. That will be a big jump there. It'll be like this day here, but it'll be in here, so it'll be up here somewhere. How is it going to go? We won't unless if we get another whale coming in. That's not unreasonable. We just had a whale come in today, and of course we get another whale come in. We might just get, you never know, might just get up there, have quite a big day. So it's going to be fantastic. I definitely think that we're going to get a massive retail flood in. Of course, people with you know, 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever, 5 grand, $200, whatever they've got, we could see a lot of that adding up. That could be a big move as well. So it's going to be fascinating to see how we get on for day 10 and 11 there. Really, really cool. Day 10 is already spectacular, already 50 mil as well. So nice. All right, so that's today's snapshots, folks. Some exclusive detail there. Very, very cool. Now, people are asking about the sacrifice amount. These are approximate numbers, but you know, people asking yesterday what was 50,000. Well, Pulsechain. These are roughly Pulsechains as well. So, you know, what do we got here? So 5K. Now you can check this against your own sacrifice points. You actually see the multiplier. If you go to how to pulse, you can put your address in there, and you can check how close these are. And once again, these approximations. And of course, 10,000 was about 1.13 or something like that. 25 was about 1.23, 50,000 about 1.33, 100,000 1.43, and of course the numbers are going to be different for PulseX, but the totals are going to be pretty similar. But the actual individuals might be different along that line, obviously with the sacrificed amounts, but gives you kind of an idea. Just gives you an idea of kind of where the ballpark might be. So cool. Obviously, if you're really slow, you're going to be just over 1 somewhere. If you've got a really low amount of stuff. So really, if you've got a low amount, you might as well just go straight in. Or obviously, just get in what you can while you get 10,000 points to 1 if you're doing a couple $100. And of course, if you stay long game and the long game pays off and you get the 500x, the 300x, the 1000x, or whatever, with $100, that's life changing, right? Just like in Hex, that would have been pretty transformative as well. With the 10,000x to 20,000x of your stake type of thing. So pretty cool. Hopefully that gives you a little help there with that one. Nice. And here we're up to timeline. In a timeline, let's just check some of the comments though. And PulseX says, sorry, still don't get the 1.75 at the end. Yeah, so you won't qualify. So if you're between up to the 20th of February, you qualify for the volume multiplier. So that's between 1 and 2.5 based on how much USDC you are, your rank compared to everybody else. But after that, you won't be in that that second component. You won't be part of. You'll be in the 1.75 flat. But by that time, the amount, the base amount, the first component would be up with something like $8 or something like that for 10,000 points, $9. So you see how it offsets that. It's kind of you're going to pay a lot for the base points to get that 1.75. But that's kind of when we're expecting the Origin account to come in, if it comes in similar to as it did for Pulsechain. Hopefully that helps explain that more. Cool. Roscoe's in the house. Hey, Roscoe, let's go. Hey, good to see you as well. So good job there. I think you were doing a good job there in Matty Allen's conference, day 2. So keep up the great work there, Roscoe. Brent says, I'm holding all of Richard's tokens like I was the first person to buy Bitcoin long hodl. Hey, Brenton, I think that's a very smart move. And I think that's kind of one of the cool wisdoms as well. So cool. Prince says, do we know how many unique wallets signed up? Yes, we do. We do, excluding we do on the ETH chain, and we talked about that earlier. We're up at 42,000, something like that, 42,200 or something like that. I think we're at. So we'll have another look. Just wait for that to update. Yeah, so we already surpassed Pulsechain and the total wallets on the ETH chain. They were at 41,200, and we've already passed that. So PulseX has already got more wallet sacrificed. But it is, for me, it's a bit of a blunt measure. You know what I mean? Because we could have a lot of Genesis wallets, a lot of people just doing little small sacrifices, and maybe just trying to get Genesis wallets, something like that. So that's what I mean. It's it's cool, but until it sort of gets higher and higher and higher, and then you go, oh yeah, okay, and then you could filter out some of the wallets. You might be able to get a better example of that, but nice. All right, so there we are, 42,725 wallets. So we're already about 1,500 wallets higher than Pulsechain. So that's a pretty good result. Yeah, nice. And of course, my favorite result is we're at 1,035,000,000 Hex Sacrifice, and that's off the market on ETH chain, and will also be off the market off Pulsechain because it's going to the Sacrifice wallet, and presumably that acts the same way as the Origin accounts does, and so that's keeps off the market. Very nice. I like how the Origin account sort of eats up part of the inflation, 3.69% inflation by staking. It also regulates the return. APY return that's in the system as well on Hex, and of course operates similar on the PHEX, of course. And yeah, I think, like I said, that I posted the Power T-Shares video by Patrick and Abit from Crypto Spa Book. I think I got all his names down now. Anyway, so I posted that, and of course I think that we're going to even beat those projections because of the fact that the function of the price of Hex will encourage people to 50% early in stake. And of course, if you're still staking after that with your T-shares, you play the long game, like Kareem the Dream, your Hex per payout is already going to be spectacular for that. So at the moment, a lot of the calculators calculate maybe 6 Hex per T-share, but of course, further out, that goes up to 40, 50, 60 Hex per T-share. And of course, if people are going to early in stake earlier, that means there's going to be even less T-shares than in projection. And of course, that means you're going to get even more. There's a little more of that. So I think it's going to be mind-blowing returns in terms of Hex volume. People that get Hex inflation, as it were, just going to be mind-boggling in a couple of years, even in a couple of years' time. So yeah, I think I'm expecting some of the big early in stakes to start happening. Probably year 5, because we used to have an average when people back at the beginning of Hex, kind of when people were first staking. A lot of people were still trying to understand that, but they may have been doing, I think our average was like 5 years or something. That's kind of where I'm thinking. And so whatever the average is there, that's when I think we'll start getting those first early end stakes on the average there. And of course, now we've just ticked over 6 years, of course, with a lot of the short-term big stakes coming out. Those those big volume ones start to allow the average year rate to go out. And of course, with the education, we're getting more people staking longer, those who understand how it works. For the T-shares, and of course that's going to have an exponential explosive return for you. So people playing the short game now, many are early in staking, as we see for PulseX, trying to get the big X's in the short term on the PulseX, which I can completely understand. But on the other hand, that's paying T-share holders who are staked long term really good returns, and that's only going to get better in the future as a function of price, Hex price, especially if we're talking about going into dollars, tens of dollars, etc. And if you're a super moon boy, well, some people talk about $1 million Hex. I just don't. That's not even real for me. That kind of idea. But definitely, I think we can go into very high amounts for Hex in the future if we get the billionaires into play. And that's looking more promising all the time with the work that Kinetics and stuff are doing. We're going to check that out because that's the highlight for today. We're going to get into that too. All right, so hopefully that's pretty cool. And let's get into so answer you there, Pinchy. Guessing Hex2 says guessing day after day 10 it will drop off and just tick along. It's not much to be sacrificed. I expect the first couple of days to be okay though. It will drop off after the big ninth, but I still think we'll get some decent days in that chain. Just as we saw in Pulsechain, we still saw some decent days the first couple of days afterwards. So I think day 12, 13, 14 could still be quite decent sacrifices, and then it will slowly taper off. From there, but some people may just sacrifice on other days anyway because they figure, hey, I'm still getting a relatively better rate in the future. If I'm going to pay 100x in the future, then I might as well pay 1.5 now. In terms with all the inflation, and then I may get a 200x rather than a 500x or something like that. So I think there's still a bit of that going on too. But Blobfish says. Bob says Fish, with all this Hex token off the market, both PX and EX, this is amazing pumping. It is. That's what I mean. The sacrifices were kind of perfectly timed as well, because there was all these stakes coming out mid-year last year, and then of course over November, December, the stuff coming out, and of course the sacrifices perfectly timed for PulseX. It's like brilliant. The timing is like masterful. It's like a piece of art, really. It couldn't be better. Hex is the way, says great coverage, Hex Token. I have a stream in about 9 hours with special guest. Stay strong, Hexkins around the world. Hey, yeah, definitely go subscribe to Hex is the way. doing some great content around Hex. So big shout out to you. Great to see you in the chat as well. And the HexPo says the Sac multiplier is a great spreader. Where did you get that info, please? Mate, would love to look at that. Yeah, I have put that in the video description on some of my videos. I'll try. I don't think I've got it on this one, but I'll put it in after the live stream. Try and remember to do that. So cool. The Hex Pulse 2 says, gee, you explained that better than Wales only. Yep, I get it now. Thanks. Wales had only said just wait for the 1.7. That is not a good way to go. No, at that time the base amount is way expensive at the time. Yeah. The 1.7 will offset you at a certain time of the profile, but yeah, just take that. You got 10x on the base amount. Cool. It's probably a good thing to get a spreadsheet and then you can put the numbers in and just play around those. Pretty good way. TextX says, so when Hex doubles on Sunday night after January 10th, that's the best time. Yeah. That's the speculative side, right? That's the speculative side, and I am expecting the price to go up, but it's got to go up faster than the compound of 5% per day. You got to outdo that, right? So you got a Hex price got to go up faster. Hex price needs to go up faster than this. The Hex price has to go faster than that. So is it going to go? Is it going to go do that? I'm expecting it to go up quite good, but I don't know if it's going to do that. But you never know. Cool. Hamish says, let's PulseX, let's go. Absolutely. And Roost Guys in the house, wouldn't having more than one wallet decrease the multiplier of that wallet? No. The only reason why I'm talking about more than one wallet is if you're going to sacrifice a little bit to get a Genesis wallet. So let's say you had one main account, you sacrifice on that, you get the highest volume multiplier that you possibly can, and then you might have a couple other wallets that you sacrifice, maybe $10, $50, and of course you're just trying to get some Genesis wallets in case there's airdrops to Genesis wallets in the future. People speculate on that. And of course, obviously, we had when Hex, people think about, we had uni airdrop, of course, to all the wallets that you used. We had 1inch and all these, about at least a couple others that were on there too. So that's where people are getting the idea of getting Genesis wallets in case they get airdropped on. And this may also be maybe the 1% wallet where you don't expect no expectations. Maybe they do an airdrop to their wallet. Who knows? You never know, right? So it's all speculation, but that's why people go for these secondary wallets with just a little bit of a sacrifice on them. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it pays off. Brendan says, when do you think we will start seeing B shares? Well, pretty soon. We're still going to, I think once we get over like maybe $15,000, $10,000 kind of is the way to go. Then you're talking about $10 a B share, right? So $15 a B share. Because remember back T-shares used to be, the lowest was 60 cents. So 60 cents. So I don't know, we could start talking about B shares now, right? Because like $5, isn't it, for a B share at the moment? So that could start now. Hey, B shares. Do a video tomorrow on that. That sounds good. Anyway, Bruce Guy says, I reckon we are already there. Last person I bought it couldn't afford a whole T-share, so explaining T-shares was more than explaining B shares. So had to change the wording as I explained. Hey, well said, Bruce Guys. The other thing, of course, as I said in my couple of daily videos, is that let me just jump this back to the Hex price. What's what we talk about this? Just under 23 cents at the moment. So yeah, what I was saying was that if we've got 140 million Hex in the Uniswap pools and the 4 pools, there's only enough there for maybe 6.5 to 7,000 T-shares all up. And of course, you can't do that. You can't just sell it all because of the way that the ratio goes up and the price goes up as a square. But I just idealized that 140 million Hex on the market. That's 6,500, 7,000 T-shares. So we see that many T-shares sometimes come out. Like today, we had 2,500 T-shares come out of the day, and of course, that's like a third of the Hex that's in the Uniswap pools, combined. So that's obviously from the original people, right? People with that started back in the day. Like a lot of that stuff's coming out. So it's pretty fascinating to see the fact that this getting T-shares is going to be take a lot of people off guard, and I think Alex talks about that a few times in the chat there. So yeah, the T-shares is going to take people off surprise. So if you haven't seen it, the Power of T-shares video, check it out on this channel. And of course, I've just cut out the essential stuff there. I've got the second part I'm going to load up after this live stream a bit later. So that's the second part. It's really about the personal side of staking, the consequences of the T-share. But the first one is probably really important because it shows you the number of T-shares in the pool over the next 15 years projected, and the number of the Hex payout per T-share per day projected, of course. And as I argued earlier, I think that that's going to be a lot earlier because I think that people are going to early in stake as a function of the price of Hex. And that as the price of Hex goes up, we'll see more early in stakes from the OGs that have actually decided to commit and stake out for longer. But once they reach 50%, maybe they've done a 10-year stake, they could stake it unstake it 5 years. They forego their big paydays, they forego a lot of their other stuff, but they try and get out the US dollar amount out of there. So it's going to be interesting to see some of that. It's always a percentage that will do that, right? So, and it's more tempting as the price goes up. So that has to be absorbed too by the market. That's how we start getting some of those ebbs and flows and price cycles as we go further in the future. Just like Bitcoin has had, you're going to see those markets stretch out longer as well. So interesting stuff. All right, so hey bud, got to go for dinner. Thanks so much for love your streams, and we're back on tomorrow. Thanks again. Hey Hex Pulse dude, all the best. Enjoy your dinner, and great to see you as always. Runesco says soon T-shares would be so unaffordable they might replace the T with a B. Yeah, so T-shares is going to be worth more than a Bitcoin, right? Very quickly, you can see it happening. I think you guys can see that already. After we're moving into our third year now, you can already see that T-shares. Like if the T-share was back at the price of Hex at the top, well, let's say argue 55 cents or something, although I think it's really around 51 cents, but we had a spike up there. Then you're looking already at $10,500 for a T-share back at the price. So as the price of Hex goes up, the T-share rates is going up, and we're at the low end of that T-share exponential rise, right? So we're still at the low end, and that later on that jumps even further, and the curve just goes up even faster. And it's going to take a lot of people off guard there. Hey, Francia is in the house. Hey, Francia, good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. And New Thing says, I already sacrificed 10 wallets. Yeah, see, New Thing knows what New Thing's doing, right? So that's it. You're getting all those Genesis wallets. Nice one. All right, so Brennan Islick says, plenty of meat on the bone, even at 100 shares. That's right. And that's the way it's designed, right? The compound rate on the share rate. As well. Chicken says, I heard that last year. Here we are, T-shares still affordable. Yeah, well, people still using T-shares obviously commonly, but we are pretty close to talking about B-shares, especially onboarding people. So I definitely think I see where RuneSky's heading with that. But definitely once we get over kind of 10,000 for a T-share, I think a lot of people with T-shares will be talking about $10,000 a T-share. But if you start most onboarding new people, you'll have to start talking about B-shares more commonly, saying, hey, if you can get a B-share for $20 or for whatever. So I think that's definitely going to happen pretty soon, and maybe more commonly in the second half of the year. But if you're onboarding, you could probably even start doing that now, as RuneSky has said. So yeah, a bit of both. Chicken says, honestly, I think Hex won't be a thing until the first 555 get unstaked. I believe in it, but until those 555s are over, you won't see people FOMO. Hey, that's an interesting perspective there, Chicken. I do think there's some merit to that. Obviously, the whole first cycle's run with the first 555 stakers, so there is some merit into that. But I already think that people, that the fact that we're over 2 years is already pretty cool. And then once we're down to past that 5-year mark, and if things are still steaming along as they are now, I see nothing holding back, and I really don't see anything holding back at the moment. We do have some OGs that could sell down a lot of bags. There's probably the only ones, but we have got rid of quite a few of them. And then you get to the point too, if you get the culture right, you only get people selling down some profits to live by because their bags are so big. They don't need to sell a lot of it, and you definitely see that in some of the ETH holders. Hex Gold Whale's a bit like that, so it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag. I agree with you on that, but definitely over time, we're going to have the Hex is going to get spread out over time too, as we get more adoption, and that's what we're focused on this year. Is the beginning of that mass adoption. 2022 into 2023. So I think, and hi, says Frontier. New thing, you got this. Yeah, nice one. And do you think 1,000 Aussie is a decent amount to sacrifice? I do think that, and I know quite a few people that are doing that amount. So I do think that's a very good amount. Very cool. Obviously not investment advice, as it were, just infotainment. But yeah, definitely think 1,000 is a decent amount to sacrifice if that's what you're going to do. All right, let's jump on. We're going to move forward because I haven't covered everything yet. So we're up to there. Oh yes, I've talked about that. And so let's have a look at the time frame. Our airplane, it can fly up. So here it goes. we're flying up there. And of course, we're having some green candles here on this chart. It actually shows 3 days, so I'm not sure why it's different from my other candles. Obviously, a different time zone on this chart. This is on TradingView, yeah. So there we are. So I've added a few things here. This is the PulseX Sacrifice. Kind of shows you the volume multiplier running through to the 20th, all the way through to this day, and then a 1.75. But of course, you've got to take in the fact that the first 11 days approximately, we've got the 10,000 per $1, and then it increases by 1.05 per day compounded on itself. So, 5% per day starts to really add up. So there we are. And that's when by the time we get to the end, it's $9.90 per $9.90 per 10,000 points. But once you're past the 20th there, you're no longer in this volume multiplier. That's just two components, remember. The top is one component, that base amount. The bottom is the volume multiplier, ranks your US dollars that you sacrificed versus everybody else, gives you up between 1 and 2.5. Most people will be on the low end of that, somewhere between 1 and 1.15, depending on the smaller investors, so maybe up to 15K or something like that. And then 1.75 after that. So you really need to put it in a spreadsheet and trying to work those two out if you want to get an idea for what you might get there. But definitely, I will leave this link here in the video description. It's a guide. It's a rough guide. So it's taking into account that the sacrifices aren't identical, even if they get the same dollars, because just the amounts that people sacrifice versus that. So cool. So that's going on. Very nice. And of course, Pulsechain testnet 2.0 is running along with the validator code being checked. Remember, that's the additional stuff to the ETH chain, which is basically a copy with the full system state. In other words, ERC20s, all the 721s, all the NFT stuff and all that. So that's just tinkering along there. Basically, it's 4 weeks now. I think we're on day 27, 28. So that's basically 4 weeks running on that. We ran 77 days for Pulsechain testnet 1.0, which is all the way back here. This thing here was all the testnet 1.0, testnet 2.0 doing, mainly doing the validator stuff. Obviously, everyone's testing a lot of stuff on there, but that's the main thing. And then we've got Pulsechain testnet 3.0. We just don't know much about that. That's why we've got question marks about when testnet 2 finishes and testnet 3 starts. And presumably that's the latest information. So unless Richard changes that information, that's what we've got here at the moment. And of course, the test 3.0 is really about running the AMM bot run, and of course harvesting the tokens and just doing a mock-up of that on a testnet, as well as PulseX running as well. The bridge has probably been tested all the time. Go Hex probably is probably the easiest part of that, of course, just interacting with Pulsechain for Hex staking and stuff. And then Uniswap front end is done as well. We've already played around with that on the live stream a couple times. So cool. I might actually do that again some stage as well. All right, so those are the two things. Pulsechain testnet and PulseX are running. Very, very cool. Also, Fiat on-ramp is going to be in play as well. And of course, those are the two. So external has got the Fiat on-ramp, and of course, the main thing, of course, is the bridge. That's the main thing to make everything work. Otherwise, you've got a closed system. You've got to open it up, and that's how it's going to work there. Nice. All right. So the other thing, of course, Hex scale. Now, this is the pearls that we got from Kinetics today, because he's been holding it pretty close to his chest. I know Wales Only is keeping him on the hush hush, which is all good. I mean, they have got serious commercial relationships to manage and information and stuff like that, and they're getting up to there. But basically, this is where we're up to. You've got the private side. Accredited investors are already open, 1 million net worth plus, of course. And a soft launch was apparently on the 30th of December. And of course, that there is on Mountain Crypto Advisors. So if you go to that site, mountaincryptoadvisors.com, maybe I'll post that in there if you want to check that out. I'll post it in the chat. And how much for T-share? About $5,000 for T-share there, Anita. Last time I checked, around about that. And Brownie says, I can already hear my 555 stake ending. No way, Granddad had a T-share. Wow. Yeah, you lose those T-shares, it's going to be quite painful in the future once you realize how much Hex they're earning. And if the Hex price is really, really high, then it's super, super wealth. So they're very cool. Chicken says, we're all OGs. This is just the beginning. Be patient, at least 15 years patient. Yeah, that's right. I always believe in a staking ladder. I understand the power of the math for 5555, but you must have a staking ladder that suits your lifestyle. ultimately, right? You've got to live. You may want to get a Tesla in 2 years or something. So you got to adapt the staking ladder to your lifestyle. Or the maths is obvious, right? The longer you stay, the better the hex amount you're getting paid out. It's a no-brainer, right? And if you watch the Power of T-Shares video that I've got on this channel, you'll see that. But on the other hand, you've also got to balance it out with your age, your lifestyle, your intentions, that sort of thing. So it's something to balance out. But that's what it's there for. It's designed to do that, right? You can do a staking ladder. We have stakes at different times as well. All right. So the second part, of course, this is the big stuff that came out. Now I wasn't aware of this before this date, so I haven't seen them say anything on this. This seemed to have come out today. If you had heard it before today, let me know in the chat. But Hex Investment Trust, this was the private side of the investment vehicle that we've all been looking forward to. That's going to have big investors buying. The hexinvestmenttrust.com. That is the one, and he gave us that website. I'm not sure if he was planning to, but we definitely got that in today's one. And it's the first time I'd ever heard of it. So cool. And of course, we're going to jump to that now. Let us go. Bam, there we go. So there it is. This is just a rough setup at the moment, but this is the Hex Investment Trust. This is kind of like the Grayscale, and of course, that's the number one private owner, public owner, I think is the way you might phrase it, of Bitcoin and many other tokens like Coin, Ethereum, and stuff like that. But here it is, Hex Investment Trust, under construction, full website coming soon. Achieve your goals with trustless yield. And of course, that's going to be a non-stop buyer. They're just going to be buying Hex. And of course, pulling in big money they're going to bridge the traditional markets with investors that are not really into crypto in a big way, or maybe not in a formal way. And of course, bridging that over to Hex, and that'd be pretty amazing. So it's going to be cool. No doubt they'll probably don't know whether they're going to separate that out into Hex on Ethereum, Hex on Pulsechain, or whether what they'll be doing. We'll have different vehicles for that. Will they have a vehicle, create a vehicle for Pulse? I believe they're going to do that, creating a buying vehicle for Pulse, so that could be another one. And obviously, on addition, we've already got liquid loans setting up, and of course, that looks pretty amazing for buying. People collateralize, they put their Pulse in, and they can borrow some dollars out of there, and then go and buy more Pulse. So that's going to be a big pair, right? The Pulse loan stable coin. I think it's I can't remember exactly what it's called, something L or something, UNPL or something. And they're going to pair that with Pulse, and that's going to be a big pair. That'll be a big trading pair, no doubt. And you watch that grow in volume. So yeah, I kind of like it. It's kind of cool, looking cool. Just it's not even fully on there at the moment, but it's got if we scroll down, it's got the Hex price there at the moment. So nice. And yeah, Hex cool. 2022 Hex Investment Trust, all rights reserved. So it looks like it's starting to happen there. And the material on this website is for illustration and discussion purposes only, and do not constitute offering. They might want to just check the English there, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. Hex Investment Trust, trading mark, nice, I like it. That's a good first sign there. And so that was the biggest insight from the whole day of day 2 for me. Obviously, if this is just the information side, but obviously it doesn't do with the people and the excitement there. But this is kind of, if you're looking for the fundamentals, this was it. So cool. 730 banks is big, yeah. And so this is going to be attracting first the private market. Now apparently they have, from previous comments, they've got $1 billion distribution arm through there, so they could reach their private. Imagine having private targets of investments. So they're pretty confident. Back in November, December, they were pretty confident about reaching that pretty fast. And of course, that's all in buying. There's going to buy, not sell, and then stake for 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So that's all they're going to be doing in these trusts. And of course, the way you get in and out of the trust is via shares in the trust. So you just trade in and out of those rather than have people that actually invest don't even touch the stakes. So they're not even not even cared on that. So not even sure what that was. I hate spiders, so I hope it's not spiders. But yeah, that's what's happening there. So pretty powerful. And then of course, potentially it's going to go to public. Not potentially, it is going to go to public if they get their approvals. Apparently they've got someone up in that knows the SEC and all the stuff, and could accelerate the launch into a public launch. And then it could go on NASDAQ or something like that, and then be able to get IRA. People can invest their IRAs in it, and institutions can invest into PulseX that way. And World's thing. The other couple of things that he dropped, Kinex dropped today, was around the fact that they've got some very well-known people in the mix, and he's super excited. So he's kind of like a genie in a bottle. He's kind of super excited about it. He wants to talk about it all. and he can't at this stage, but he will in due course. So looking very excited about that. But like I said, I think mid-January onwards probably is when we're probably going to start getting some more info about that. Is probably best expectation. So very, very cool. And not bad with the 3D website, like the 3D side of it. Chicken says people are saying it would be at $1 at the end of 2021. Some say $10 here, and we are 2020 at 22 cents. It's going to take a while. It will take a while when we've got people selling in, but now it's going to happen at a faster rate, right? We've got the sacrifice on. It's taking supply off. We just took off over $1 billion. It's gone off the supply. And of course, some of that was from early penalty staking, but the majority of it was from wallets, I would suggest. And then, of course, we've got all this demand potentially coming on with the Hex Scale Trust and Billionaires, because obviously Funding Gym is doing a lot of great work there too. So Funding Gym here, Billionaire Liaison is doing some huge work there and opening up some big synergies between the Hex Investment Trust and the Billionaire Liaisons. Now, obviously Funding Gym is this weekend is with Kiyosaki and others with the Billionaire networks there, and the people that are worth hundreds of millions and in excess of 20 million. So he's doing a lot of stuff there. So that's the stuff we're expecting to come on at the moment. Obviously, the general market conditions are also important. So it'll be interesting to see how that balances out. But at the moment, they're certainly leading those people in. And I think Kinetics was saying that people like Kiyosaki with the big money that want to get investments, they like to talk to other people. Other people go in and they like to be second. They like to be second in after one of their friends have gone in, sort of thing. So I think there's a bit of that going on at the moment. But it looks pretty exciting. Everyone sounds pretty positive about it. So very exciting. Hopefully we'll get some videos too, apparently from Funding Gym. So big hats off to Funding Gym. Seems to be very good with this sort of stuff. And normally that's quite a special skill, particularly not always learned, but often with some natural ability there too. So very cool. Exciting to see that. So lots of stuff happening, folks. Hopefully that's pretty cool. And let's get on to the final. Of course, it's going to be Hexpo Day 3 tomorrow. And of course, that's day 3. We're going to have the opening one's going to be devs talking. So the devs, so if you want to find out the real technical stuff, that's next level stuff, get to the devs talks. That's the first opening one. And then of course there's going to be the quants panel there after that, which is going to have wave 3 on there if you like the charting. And it's going to have that. I think that's might even have Gerardo on there. So the quants panel, yeah, so quantitative with the quants, so doing the numbers, the charts and all that. So these are both fantastic off today. So day 3 is shaping up to really good info. If you want to get to that deep understanding of Hex, Pulsechain and stuff, looks good. Then they're going to have pro sports, Sun and Wealth. Hopefully, I think they've got some NBA players and stuff like that on there. Looks pretty exciting. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty interesting. Pro sports, we don't talk a lot about here because we don't see a lot of it, but there's a lot of NBA players and other people in the United States that are into Hex. So they've got 5 stakes too. Pretty cool. Then the Sense Foundation, of course, and Pulsechain, they had the sacrifice to the Sense Foundation, and that was $27 million raised for that, doing long life stuff there. So hopefully they're going to be on there as well. So it looks good as a keynote speaker. So if you want to see how they're doing with that charity, maybe what they're doing with the money and stuff like that, very pretty cool. And then of course we've got new YouTubers on here, social there. So that's going to be pretty cool. See some of the new YouTubers in the space. I guess it's Hex, Pulsechain, PulseX, and we know that there's a couple more females in the space, which is really great because that's obviously going to reach out a whole different demographics, and it certainly enriches the ecosystem. So very cool to see that as well. And then finally, another Hex social at the end. So that's day 3, folks. So that's for tomorrow. So queue up for that. That's going to be on Matty Allen's channel. And very cool. I think I've got the links in the video description for that. If not, I'll put them in the live stream afterwards. And that's how we roll. And there's a bigger one here down the bottom here, so you can check that out, all on the Hex panel. So nice. I think we're at an hour and 22 minutes. You know, I roll normally an hour and 20 hour wrap up. So we're going to wrap up now, and I'm just going to go into the poll first of all. That is the itinerary for the show. Let me just get into the poll here. 37 votes, not bad. Let's end the poll and have that pop up there before we wrap up. We're going to go back to the Pulsechain, of course, and we're going to refresh this before we end out as well. So wait for the poll to go. And yeah, we'll probably go a couple more minutes yet, so not quite finished. So what HexPo online conference day 2 session did you enjoy the most? Price and Hex talks, hour 1 and 2, 62%. Wow. Okay. Cool. That didn't start off that way, so that was obviously good. Hex Musicians and Social, our 5 and 6, 16%. Yeah, that's the one I think we was leading with at the beginning. And Descent, our 3, 13%, and Discourse Syndicate for our 4, number 8%. And it's funny because that's the one I talked about the most, was the Discourse Syndicate one with Kinetics. So that's pretty funny. They were going to have the highest stakes on there, but they are busy doing the I guess the epic film documentary is the way you'd put it. So nice, great results. So I appreciate everyone voting. What else we got going on here? Chicken says on board Kyoto would be a huge step. It will be huge. Kiyosaki and that, yeah, massive, because they're all linked into big networks of very wealthy people. Hungarian says when onboarding, I understand there's 5 big shark hexagons involved in that network too. Now I think you have to pay a fee to join it. I think that's how it works. When onboarding people currently, what percentage of their investment would you suggest they put into PulseX and Hex? Not financial advice, of course. Well, when they're starting off, you might do a 5% just to get them in, or 2%. Depending on how big their portfolio is. Sometimes it's just a dollar amount. Typically, I say if PulseX or something like that, I said if you do $200-300, even $100, you could be very happy with that to new people. It just depends what their profile is, what their risk appetite is. But definitely, I've said to a lot of people in my private sphere, just a couple $100 would be great. Typically, I've said if I know they've got a bit more money, I've said, just do if you can do $1,000, $2,000, somewhere like that, you'll be very happy. Is the way I put that. So hopefully that helps there. Yeah, nice. All right. So telling you, Hexen, why the question? You know the answer. Yeah. Please, goodbye. Woohoo. Yeah, not quite finished with the who, but I like that Alva doors. Very cool. All right, let's do. I think we've done that. So we're going to do the last update on the sacrifice. Let's do it. Yeah, so we had many highlights. I'm just going to summarize those because today has been spectacular for the highlights. So we're 462.5 million US dollars. We're heading towards $500 million. We add in, say, 15 million for the non-Ethereum, and which is probably climbing slightly too. That's going to be 477.5. So we could be, let's say, we're around 478 million, and our target is $500 million, and I'm sure we'll easily hit that by tomorrow. So the next day and a half is going to be pretty epic. And we've got our 3rd big whale there. That was a big highlight as well. And of course, the other big highlight was we smashed over 1 billion hex sacrifice, and that's huge for hexicans who are staked and who are committed, because that's hex that won't be sold in the sacrifice address based on the behavior that typically those wallets show. And I've always talked about them describing it as a financial operator rather than a seller, as it says. They really just help regulate the system as well. So cool. What's the final thing I was going to say? Yes, we're going to go to Pulsechain, and we're just going to go through the timeline. So we have 1 day and 15 hours left. 1 day and 15 hours left, 33 minutes until the 10,000 base points increases by 5%. So it'll cost you $1.05 on the next day, on day on the 10th. It will cost you $1.05 on that day. So, and then add 5% to that, etc. So cool. All right, I think I'm there. I think I've done everything, right? Yeah. All right. So very cool. Chicken says good vibes. Hex is the way, family. Yeah, absolutely. And jumps up and does a happy PulseX dance. Yeah, that could be cool too. I might think about that one there, Brownie. And let me get into chat here. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to throw a few emojis your way. But yeah. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah! Power to the PulseX. All right. So happy sacrificing, everybody. And I'll catch you tomorrow for the daily vid and the live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And let me throw some emojis your way. Bam, bam, bam. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And if you want to join as a channel member, just hit the join button. We've got Pulseskins, Hexkins, and the Richard Hart Club. So get into that. Until then, folks, here's the emojis. Bam. And take care, everybody out there. Have a lot of fun. And yeah, just enjoy yourself, and happy sacrificing for sure. All right. Bam, bam. All right. Ending. Here we go.